Yo, what's poppin', people? Cobra Star Green back with you guys in the video today. Y'all first time finding our channel, please for your boy hit the subscribe button. Also like the video. Yes, today's a good day. Today's an amazing day because today I get to review my most anticipated project. I don't know about you, but my most anticipated project of the year. Yes, you heard me. Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse. Yes, this will be a full-on non-spoiler review. No spoilers in this review, but we will have a spoiler review dropping like really quickly right after this. So probably when this is out, the spoiler review is also out at the same time. Who knows? But like I said, you guys definitely hit the subscribe button if you guys are new. Also like the video. Did I like this one as much as I liked the last one? Now, if you guys know me, you know the first Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is my favorite Spider-Man movie of literally all time. Now, how will this new one rank up? Will it be better? Because I've seen a lot of critics out there saying this new Spider-Verse is even better than the first one. How will it rank in our eyes? Well, you guys are going to have to find out. Let's go ahead. Cue the intro.
We got a problem. 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 It's probably you. Yeah. We got a problem. We got a problem. We got a problem. We got a problem. We got a problem.
So,
Yo, what's poppin'?
Oh, that was weird. So, yes, let's go ahead and let's talk about this new. I'm excited to talk about this, but let's go ahead and talk about this new Across the Spider-Verse film. This is gonna be part one of part two. If you guys did not know that, they announced it early. That's gonna be a part one, and there's a part two coming out like next year or something like that. But let's go ahead and let's talk about the part one. So this one piggybacks off the last film where, you know, we have Miles and Gwen, but this one kind of focuses more on Gwen in a certain instance and pretty much follows her. And she has this new super team she's pretty much joined up with. And you know what? She's like, you know, I like Miles. You know what I'm saying? She was like, I went across the world for his ass. You know, I really like Miles. So let me go ahead and recruit him to the new team. And when Miles joins the new team, well, something catastrophic happens. You know, worlds could be destroyed. Will Miles be able to save these worlds, or, well, everything be just destroyed?
Find out.
Pretty much. So yes, we're gonna go ahead and talk about it. Let's go ahead and talk about really quickly. We're not gonna go too deep into any of this, but the characters, man. I just gotta say this. What's her name? That plays Gwen.
Haley Steinfeld.
Haley Steinfeld, man. If you guys did not know, she was on Hawkeye, the Hawkeye TV series. Honestly, I didn't really prefer her that much on the Hawkeye TV series. I was like, I think she's all right here. But seeing her in this film, I ain't gonna lie. Haley, you amazing. I ain't gonna lie. Like, her voice acting is A1 here, to the point where I literally forgot that she was the one voicing this character. How'd you feel about her?
Yeah, she did a fantastic job as always. In the first one, she did a fantastic job.
She did, yeah.
Continues to impress in this. A lot of tone, a lot of range, a lot of things that you can come off the character. Good dramatic chops, all that good stuff.
Yeah, and the thing I gotta, oh yeah, you are right with the baby. The thing I gotta praise this movie for is that, you know, pretty much the first movie like really followed Miles. You know what I'm saying? But this one, it starts out following Gwen, and we're going through like her story, her family, her father, how you know what I'm saying, how all these fathers connect with one another, with the whole Spider-Verse as a whole.
Yeah.
So I was really glad that the movie opened up with Gwen. And I like the pacing on how they did it. I don't know how you felt about Gwen starting out.
The prologue was honestly, maybe hot take, my favorite part of the film.
I don't think that's a hot take. I really don't think that's a hot take.
And it's really good. It almost felt like a mini film almost, and it was like the coloring was amazing.
Oh my! Yeah, like,
the fight choreograph was like
right here.
Really A1. Incredible visuals, incredible storytelling, incredible emotional depth, complicated, you know, feelings in the air and stuff like that. Good reveals, good twists, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, no, well, especially
So
when we just talking about her, just how well her character was done, how much stronger her character was in this film prior to the previous film. I just think you got to give a big kudos to the writers. We gonna talk about the animation, y'all. I know I can already hear somebody now right now. We gonna talk about how good the animation is, because y'all know it's good. So we gonna talk about how good that is in a little bit. But we just want to talk about these characters. But I just got to give a really good, surprising Because I thought she was all right in the first one, but just seeing her in this one, she was just so much better written here.
Yeah, I think I said one time when I was thinking outside the box when we came out the movie, I was like, well, it's almost the opposite. Is Peter B. Parker got more development than the first one.
Yeah.
Much better fleshed out character there, and she was like the third main important. She got some flesh out, and she was a good character. But in this one, it was the opposite, where like Peter B. Parker, there's a little bit more you learn about him and everything, but she is much more center focused. It almost feels like just as much her film as it does Miles.
Yeah, because you gotta remember the first one. Yeah, pretty much. Peter B. Parker is that what's it called? He was second billing, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then in this one, it's you for sure. It's her. Like
for sure.
It's her.
It's even more hers in this film than it felt like it was Peter B. Parker's in his.
In the first.
Yeah.
Well,
almost. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Make an argument on it. Yeah.
But now we're gonna talk about, man. I go like he's my favorite character, but I read the comics on this guy, man, this kid, man, Miles Morales. What can you say? Like, look, his character development in the first one. I'm sorry, I'm going through some allergies, but how he was written in the first one was I haven't seen a character written as good as that in a while, especially for a comic book film.
Yeah.
But even here, it's not as good as the first one when it comes to like them writing Miles, because most of his development's already there, pretty much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mostly it's already there, so they don't really have to. You don't have to push too more when it comes to his development. But still, him here, like his range, like there's a certain part where it's a non-spoiler review. Where there's a certain part where second half of the film where something happens where we as the viewers learn something very important to the story. And you could just see the amount of emotion on Miles, and just you can see how the whole movie with Miles just flipped completely upside down.
Yeah, it almost felt like a retreading a little bit of like the major things that makes his character, the problems he goes through, but not in a bad way. It feels like a good retreading. Like there's different focal issues, I would say, like for this particular story for him. Very well done character arc still nonetheless. Very well done acting. Voice performance was A1.
God, that voice
and when I'm watching the animation of all these characters, it felt like I was watching real life actors kind of like give a performance as well.
But I wanted to say that, but I was like, I feel like I'm gonna be weird if I say this, but it kind of felt like it's just how the animation was on Pacific characters, like you just said.
Yeah,
it just kind of really felt like it was mocap to a certain extent. Like I was like, are these actors in mocap really?
Yeah,
but I don't know.
There's definitely scenes where I feel the emotion more than most performances in a lot of live action films. And I know, animation, it's a little bit of a quote unquote cheat, I guess, but that is hard to still really do in animation. I feel like there's a lot of animation that you could say that there's a good vocal performance, but you don't feel as felt as much with the character being animated the way they are.
No, that I was going, but like I said, I ain't want to be weird for saying that, because I was like, I feel like if I said that, people would be like, man, what are you talking about? But I'm really glad that you ended up bringing that up. Next thing we're gonna talk about, man, another character really quickly. Like I said, we're not going too deep into these characters because we got so much to talk about in this, and then, like I said, we have a spoiler review dropping soon too. But I do want to talk about, man, one of my favorite actors in today's age, Oscar Isaac. Man, he plays Spiderman 2099 in this one. I don't know if it was spoiler or anything, but what is he like, the villain, right? He's an anti-hero.
More of an antagonistic character in the film.
But he has his reasons. And
it's very valid. Very valid reasons.
It's funny because like when you first meet him, it's like you get on board. You're so on board with this guy, and then like whenever you figure out, okay, what's really going on, you're still kind of on board with him because you're kind of like, I can really see this guy. It's kind of like Thanos in a certain sense. You're like, I can kind of see what Thanos is talking about. With him, you can completely see what he's talking about.
Much more valid from his perspective than it is Thanos, because, well, with what happens with him, again, non-spoiler, it's shown and it's proved. And it's like, oh, yeah, I get that. Especially with, like, in spoiler review, there will be much more context.
We're going to go deep on spoiler review.
You'll understand his motivation so much more. If you wanted to call him a villain, in a way, I could understand that. In a way, he definitely acts like a villain at times.
Yeah.
Like there's the presence of a villain, even though I would say objectively, in a way, he's not really a villain. It's more like this is a tough situation.
Bro, it's crazy. When you first meet him, he just goddamn mad. Like when he first pops up, he just I'm like, what? I'm like, bro, we're in the audience. Like, bro, what is your freaking problem, bro?
In terms of comedic timing, he is the least Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, bro. Everybody else cracking jokes, but not his serious ass. Like literally, everybody's cracking jokes, but not him.
But you would understand why too.
Yeah, because we're not gonna spoil it, but you see his point of view, like why he's taking what's going on so seriously. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, the funniest thing I've ever seen this dude do was in the last one and the post-credit scene. That's it.
Yeah,
That's
literally,
the only joke I've ever seen like from him, and yeah.
Nah, man, he was Oscar Isaac, phenomenal, man.
Terrific performance.
Great voice acting performance by Oscar Isaac. Now I do want to talk about like two more characters really quickly. Now this one can be like a surprise. I don't know how y'all feel about it, man. But the boy Spot, man. If you guys don't know too much about this character, he is in the comics and he's pretty much like a Spider-Man villain, right? Pretty much. So
he's more low key than a lot of the others.
Yeah. And even when you see him in this movie, you're gonna be like, cause he comes up, he's like, I'm Spider-Man's nemesis. That's literally like the first line he says in the movie, pretty much when you meet him.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And at first, even Miles ain't taking this dude seriously. Miles like, bro, I got better things to do, like go fill like college applications, bro. I do not care about you. This is Miles' whole ideology with this guy. He's like, I do not care about you, Spot. But as the movie goes along, Spot's character gets better, and I started like being like, okay, I like how they're writing Scott. I even like the voice actor. Who's voicing him?
I think Jason Schwartzman. I want to be absolutely sure, but he was in Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Mm-hmm.
He was in what was it called? It was an Edgar Wright film. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. He was in that. It was very great performances in that, and he's been in other stuff. He's going to be in Asteroid City, which is a Wes Anderson film, and that looks pretty good. And it's got a big cast, big cast. Anyway, point is, he's really great. He's kind of an indie actor more than anything. But,
right.
So I think this is his most prominent kind of like mainstream film feature, I think, for the most part.
No, he did his freaking thing. So you gotta say, like, as the movie goes along, you're gonna start liking Spot a lot more. When you first meet him, he's just goofy.
He's a threat.
Yeah, he's a threat.
He's definitely a threat.
But yeah, when you like I said, when you first meet him, he's just goofy as hell. He's just like, bro, what's up with this dude?
And there is a sympathetic, empathetic thing that you can grab from the character, though, like where you're like, you know, this sucks for this guy. Like,
right.
You know, this is a bad situation to be in, and you would understand why he's so mad.
Yeah. Now, really quick, we're not gonna go too deep on these last two.
Of course, yeah.
But I do want to give a big shout out to my dog Daniel Kalua, one of my favorite actors. He plays your boy Spider-Punk in this one. And I gotta say, he's one of my surprisingly favorite characters in here. Like
not my favorite, but he's really good.
Yeah, he's a lot of one-liners when you meet him.
Yeah,
like he don't really say too much, but it's quick, but it's funny at the same time. They're funny. The animation
for the character was really cool.
Yes, how they kept
very distinct.
Like it was like different colors with him. Yes. I really enjoyed. Like I said, we're gonna go deeper into animation in a second, but yeah, great job, Daniel Kalua, man. Anything last things you want to say about his character? Before we go to the next and final one.
Yeah, no, he had good one-liners. He very much felt like a Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
His own breath of fresh air for Spider-Man. Yeah, I liked him. He was cool. I think he did a great job voice acting him. Not a lot of character depth, so to speak, or anything. But to be fair, in Into the Spider-Verse, there was a lot of characters who were great on screen, but they weren't like character depth. So
not at all.
It was good. I liked them a lot.
Now, last character we're gonna talk about, man, is our boy is back. If you guys seen trailers, you gotta know it. But he's a little different now. We're talking about Peter B. Parker.
Peter B.
Parker. Yes, he is back in this one. And it's a little different. I wasn't gonna say it, but they freaking full on showed it in the trailer. But he's a father now.
Turns out he didn't use Plan B.
Okay, I see you.
Yeah,
but yeah, he's different, man. He's a changed man, pretty much. He's like, look, bro, I still do the fighting, but I don't do it like I used to do it. You know, I'm like, bro, I got a kid. The kid got powers now, so I really gotta watch over the kid. I got a wife at the house. So he's kind of really low key in this one. And I really like that about him here.
Yeah,
he's like shoot, like last movie he was the mentor to Miles, and now he's like, well shoot, I done taught this boy everything he know, and now he beat half of y'all doing the stuff I taught him. So I liked him. What do you think?
Yeah, I liked. It felt more like a status update than anything for his character. There's a couple movie key moments for the character's relationship with Miles and stuff like that. But, I really liked him a lot. I like that he's had his kid with him.
Yeah, really bro. Bro, bring your kid to work day, bro.
Fun little thing to see. It was cute.
Literally bring your kid to work day.
Yeah, but I like seeing him back. I will always take more Peter B. Parker.
He's not as strong as he was in the first movie, y'all. He's not. I don't even think he's third billing. He probably might be 6th, 7th billing in this one.
Out of the screen time, he's probably fifth, 6th, maybe.
He don't show up till late in the movie too. Like he's you kind of forget about him.
Again, it feels more like a status update. That's what it felt like. Yeah, in a way.
But let's talk about what everybody wants to hear, man. This movie goes cuckoo crazy with them goddamn Easter eggs, man. The Easter eggs, we're not spoiling nothing. The cameos they show here, this alone, the Easter eggs and cameos, pretty much are a reason to go see this movie day one.
Yeah,
you want to talk about it?
Day one. Well, there was Easter eggs of cameos that I was like, never would have guessed that in a million years. Never.
Bro, me neither.
Never ever would have. And it was just like insane to see. I really liked seeing like certain characters back. I won't say who or when or why, blah blah blah. But it was all. It didn't feel like too in your face either. It felt like almost appropriate amount.
Yeah, like they popped up and they popped up for a good reason.
I would say probably the biggest criticism of those Easter egg fan service moments is that I felt like it all blended in a little bit too much at times where I'm like, oh, play guessing who, spot this.
Yeah, like
I almost would have preferred if it felt like a little bit less instead of like an army of Spider-Man, just maybe 20, 30 of them at max.
Yeah, because there's going to be specific points in the trailer that a lot of these Spider-Men are going to get together. And that's when all this stuff happens. You're like, oh my God, I know who that is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we saw it with people that are diehard Spider-Man fans, right? Which is going to be the same thing if you guys see it day one or whatever.
Yeah.
People going to go crazy.
My preference probably would have been more to like, oh, I know who that is, and they got more than one speaking line. A little bit, like maybe just like even like 2 more scenes with them, like felt more like they're in the movie than they actually are. Like Ben Reilly, I guess, is a good one. Like he's in the trailer, so it's not really a spoiler. He's not so much of a Easter egg. He's kind of a more prominent role than you would think, but it's not a big prominent role. It's still enough for me to be like, oh, it feels more like an Easter egg than actually a character.
Yeah, no, but definitely you guys will go crazy for the Easter eggs that pop up, and they pop up literally throughout the film. Yeah, and like it's not like some of them are kind of hiding, but some of them like really dead ass in your face. Like,
very much
like
in
here.
Your face. Yeah, and sometimes it's a little weird because you're just like, oh, that was really in my face, and then other times it's like, oh, that blended well, and like it didn't feel like it subtracted, but I still noticed it, and it still felt like a part of the movie in a natural way. Now,
next thing I'm gonna talk about is y'all already know it, man. It's been getting praised for the last movie. The freaking trailer for the new movie dropped, and people were saying the same thing. Man, the animation in this movie is so good, and I like how each animation style blends and kind of clashes with the next. You know what I'm saying? Like you have different multiverses coming together, and I loved how each animation style was different. You know what I'm saying? It was a distinct difference between the next, and I really liked how they all clashed together. How do you feel about it?
I liked how the animation's like literally perfect. I think.
Oh, it's
maybe
so
a couple
good.
Background characters that were like, okay, you could have worked on this more, but otherwise, it's like basically a perfect animated film in terms of like execution. It's like literally the most gorgeous like film I could think of in a long time. Yeah.
It's very colorful. It's very colorful. It's very, you know what I'm saying? very beautiful to look at. And like I said, if you're a fan of like the comic books and stuff, you're gonna catch a lot of it.
It's definitely a step up and improvement from the first one too.
Oh yeah, and even the first,
saying a lot because the first one is still gorgeous.
Yeah, the first one, everybody's like, yo, the animation is good, but it's even better here. You know what I'm saying? And every aspect is better here.
Yeah.
Another thing I liked a lot. When the first movie dropped, I thought this was one of the best parts about the movie, which was the score and the soundtrack. Mm-hmm. Here, I felt was the same way. The score, the soundtrack just elevates this type of movie, especially like in those conflicting moments, those heartwarming moments, the very emotional moments. When they play that hip hop song, whatever song they're playing in that moment, it fits the mood perfectly, and it excels the movie. I don't know how you feel about it, but I just love their soundtrack choices in this movie. I don't know how you feel.
You can make an argument that the first one is more iconic in terms of soundtrack.
Okay. I'll say that. Yeah.
But I like most of the music. I think more in here.
I think the music in the first one a little bit better.
Fit it more at times. That's probably just a hot take there, maybe. I don't know. But every bit of the soundtrack still works like effortlessly in this. So even the stuff that like is not as iconic, I'm like, that's still really fitting for the movie.
I think the first movie soundtrack is a little bit better.
Yeah, understandable.
They're still really good.
I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, that's a bad take if somebody said that.
No.
Like, that makes sense.
So you see, we said all of our policy. We talk about the cameos, Easter eggs, animation characters, stuff like that. Now we gonna talk about some negatives, because look, the first movie to me was a perfect film, my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time. But this one comes with some criticisms, and we're going to talk about it. If you guys did not know, this is a part 1 of a part 2. Mm-hmm. So it ends on a freaking cliffhanger. I don't know why. Fast 10 got a goddamn cliffhanger. I guess everything after Infinity War is going to have a cliffhanger now to equate more value from the movie. But this one, it ends on a cliffhanger. And I'm going to say, I have seen this type of cliffhanger done so many times. Or I've seen how they go about it so many times that I was like, y'all are doing it again. Like, I know some people are like, oh my God, whenever something happens at the end. But I'm like, I've seen this done before. And I'm tired of seeing it.
I didn't like the stopping place at all.
No.
Not even remotely a fan of where it stopped. Because I was just like, it felt like you could have gave me like 15 minutes more and found a better stopping place.
You know what's crazy? I was telling you after the movie, I was like, I really felt like they had a really great stopping point. Mm-hmm. But they was like, F this, we got 20 more minutes to tell. Like, there's a certain point where something happens in the film, and it's like, and you're like, oh, okay, this is huge. Like, this is a good stopping point. This is a good cliffhanger ending right here. The movie's like, nope, let's keep on going for 20 more minutes. And I felt like when it did that, it just added unnecessary things to the plot. And it just, the movie was already super crowded. Now you're throwing in more things in here. Because like I said, there's a specific thing that happens at the very end of the movie. And I'm just like I said, I have seen this play done so many times. And I'm sick and tired of seeing it. Go ahead.
I think my biggest critique of the film in terms of that era, like the ending and everything that we're talking about, pacing, and it felt like this movie is like, it's trying to show so much, but it's a story that there's not a lot to it. There is, but there's not. Does that make sense?
This story is not that deep.
It's
not that deep.
It's very much like if you break it down and like 1, 2, 3, like it's very straightforward. It feels like this is a plot by plot, and like you can kind of get it, and it feels like small a little bit, but it feels like it's like, oh, we got to make this big, and then it's like to enter part 2, we got to make that big, and then it feels like an incomplete movie is the best way to say. Like Dune, when I watched Dune, that was definitely like, I enjoyed my experience, but I would objectively say like, I
didn't even like Dune's ending. I didn't like that
movie. And then I remember I was talking to you when we got out of the theater.
Yes, let's talk about it.
I said Infinity War.
Go ahead and talk about it, because it's your point. It's a great point.
It ended on a cliffhanger,
right?
But it was a complete movie. It was a complete story.
Like, you could watch it on its own.
Yeah, you
could watch that on its own.
You could literally watch it on its own, and you could probably just pretend like the rest of the MCU doesn't even exist, and you'd be like, that's a stopping place. That is a complete story. And like, this happens. The bad guy wins. Like, it's as simple as that. Endgame takes place like 5 years after.
Right.
And that's its own kind of story. I mean, like, from the effects of that story, but still, like, it's its own story. And this did not feel like that. It felt like very much, this is why we called it a part one. And I didn't like that. It felt like it was the worst aspects of what a cliffhanger should be. And, Empire felt like its own story. Infinity War felt like its own story.
Yeah, that was a really great point, though. Like I said, you can watch Avengers Infinity War and watch it on its own, and you be like, okay, this ending is perfect. And then if Endgame comes out, you're like, okay, but it's cool with the continuation, but Infinity War ended perfectly on its own.
Yeah, if you literally wanted to. Yeah. If you wanted to be that guy who was like, I don't like the rest of the MCU, you could pretend this is a stopping place.
You could stop it there.
Yeah, but, like, he won, like, this is a big bummer, but, like, it's a stopping place that feels fitting for its story. And, the gigantic universe, if you wanted to.
But it's like, I don't know what it is with these movies. Like, I know studios are trying to milk out property. Like I said, Fast X, they try to make 3 parts of that one. Dune is a 2-parter. This Miles Morales is a 2-parter. I know they're trying to make more money out of it, but it's like, I don't know if y'all know how to really write y'all cliffhangers that well. I don't know. Maybe that's just a me thing.
I don't even know if it's just like a cliffhanger thing. Well, it is definitely, but it's just like, it felt like we have so much to write in, but also things that we want to show. And when you go down to it, when you really look at some of these things, it's not as substantive as you would think. And it's not worth the merit of doing that when you could have stopped at a better point, wrote into a better ending for this story. And then the third one could have been like, okay, we are completing this story, but it's like, it makes sense. It would feel like, the other one was its own story. Like, you could have stopped there or something if you really wanted to.
I don't want to make it seem like we're getting down on the movie.
I feel like this was the most negative I've came out of a movie in terms of, like, talking about what I wanted more. But it was so weird because I was also like, this is objectively a top 10 comic book film all time.
Just because we talk about negatives don't mean we didn't enjoy the movie. This is still one of our favorite films.
It's like, I think a lot of people would probably agree, like, especially when the hype draws down and people like pick out the nitpicks a little bit more, that you would probably be like, well, Into the Spiderverse felt like a complete story, and this one didn't. Not really. Yeah.
So let's go and give it our ratings, man. So I'll say this, man. The first movie, if you guys know, is literally I ran into that one randomly. I just randomly watched that film and just completely loved it. And it's still to today my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time. I had critic friends that hit me up that said, "Yo, this new one's gonna be your new favorite. This new one's the best. It's better than the first one." And in my honest opinion, I do not feel like this one is better than the first one. It doesn't mean this movie's bad. The first
not even close.
The first one's a masterpiece to me. The first one's a 10 out of 10 to me. If you guys watch Double Toasted, the first one's better than Sex for me. This one isn't gonna be that high, but it's still an amazing film, like all around. Like the animation here, the characters here are done so well. You got some great Easter eggs that they really throw in well. Amazing over the top soundtrack that really meshes well with the story. Like you meet all these spider characters, and it's like, man, I'm like, if I'm a comic book fan, I'm enjoying every aspect of this movie, and I had a lot of fun with this. But this movie does come with its problems, and I'm sorry to share those problems. I really wish I didn't have to say these, but we are movie critics, so we gotta say what
gotta be as honest as
I love you guys. I love you guys. Someone be completely honest with you guys, because I don't want you guys going in. Oh, Cobra said the perfect film. No, it's not a perfect film. This movie does have its problems, and if I'm gonna give my rating, I sound a little down, but I'm really not on it because I still love the movie. I'm still going to go see this movie again in IMAX. I'm giving this movie a 9 out of 10. Yeah, I know. You're like, damn, I thought you were going to go lower than that. No, I still love the film very much. I was just very nitpicky on how they ended that film on that cliffhanger. But you go ahead, give your rating.
I think a lot of people are going to not like what I say here in terms of like where I compare this as a complete story. Into the Spiderverse is still my favorite Spider-Man film of all time.
Yep.
No Way Home, I think, with all of its gripes of plot holes and certain things, I think it feels more like a complete story, and I feel like it utilizes the characters in the multiverse, at least for that particular story, a little bit better than this one. Like I feel like it's more substantive. I got more out of it with that story. But I know this had the potential and will continue to have the potential with Beyond to beat No Way Home easily, especially in terms of execution. Already, like most gorgeous film, best action, a lot of funny comedic moments.
We didn't talk about the action. Action's amazing in this film. Yeah.
But if I had to like really be honest with y'all, like since it didn't feel like a complete story, it made me like really jump in my brain of like, man, like this doesn't feel. It feels like I need the other half right now.
It feels like we need to
be like this is the greatest Spider-Man film of all time.
It feels like we need to watch the second part immediately right after the first part. We don't even wait no year for the second part.
It almost feels unfair to compare with the other films, and I don't think that should be the case. That's how big the cliffhanger for me like really kind of bugged me, is that it really did not feel like that, even though it should have. Anyway, point is, I'm sounding like a bummer, but I say objectively speaking, in terms of execution on a lot of aspects of this film, it's a 10-10. But if I had to put it in terms of story, it's like a 7-10, 6, not 6, a 7-8 maybe.
Okay.
But as an overall film, 9 out of 10 objectively.
Yeah.
And I feel like my subjective experience was still a 9.5 out of 10, let's say. I feel like that's fair.
You still have a lot of fun with this.
I feel like that's super fair.
The comedy in here is freaking phenomenal. Like every character really feels like a Spider-Man character.
Of every villain, every like cool ideas all over the place.
Yeah.
Some things don't work as well, but it's still very, very good, and this is the kind of film you want in your theaters and and mainstream films. You want experimentation. You want stuff like this.
Yeah, no. So this film, go rush out, go see this. This movie is still amazing. It's not perfect, but it's amazing. It does its job.
It's definitely better than most comic book films that we've been getting.
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. But that's our review. If you guys have seen the film, you definitely put it down below. Put your guys' thoughts on it down below. Hey, if it's your guys' first time following our channel, please, for your boy, hit the subscribe button. Also, the video. Tell us your guys' thoughts, complaint, criticism, stuff like that down below. And hey, we will see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Peace.